Welcome to the 21st Century Project webinar series. These webinars are designed for participants of our long-term training course in coaching and members of our partner organizations across Europe. We explore the benefits and unique characteristics of innovative organizational management tools and approaches. This project is proudly supported by the European Commission within the Erasmus+ program.
Okay, and I will also minimize ourselves. As Marcus already said, the webinar, as I prepared it for today and the next week, will be partly some input from our side, or my side, also partly input from your side, and also some practical exercises, because if you experience it on your own skin, it will always bring you, I hope, more long-term effects and impacts, and maybe it will more show you if it's usable for you or not, this tool. As I already said, this Scrum methodology, it can be quite difficult maybe to understand it for the first time. Let's see. But the reason why we chose it with Lorenzo and Petra when we were preparing the whole project is that Scrum methodology is something that is being mentioned more and more often in the field of formal and non-formal education, and also in the field of coaching. Even if it comes from the IT sphere, still we can, some of the principles apply to our coaching practice. And even if we decide not to do it, it's good to be aware of it, because it's also the mission of this project to somehow enlarge your horizons in innovative tools and methodologies, because I still believe that we are planting some seeds and they can grow sooner or later. You never know. So what is Scrum? The name, actually, it comes from the sport called rugby, where a scrum is a tight formation of players who work together to move the ball forward. And similarly, in Scrum, people collaborate closely, adapt quickly, and continuously improve. And that's basically the principle of the methodology. And we will today and next week dive deeper and deeper to understand how different phases of this Scrum methodology can be applied to your coaching practice. Because I still can imagine that some of you might really like it, especially those who have this nerdy, analytical, autistic spectrum in you, because it really gives you a very, very strict and firm structure, and it helps you and the client to get more oriented in the situation, doing really small steps, one after another. But before we start, I would like to, change that. I would like to connect today's topic to the last topic, because Scrum is actually agile in practice. It's agile in motion. So to start, it will be maybe nice to somehow recall what you remember about agile methodology that you had with Petra. And I will kindly ask Marcus if he can now divide you in small groups of 4 people, and you will briefly discuss what you remember about agile, what are the keywords that you would have in your mind. And the result of each group, if you manage, it would be perfect to have 3 keywords associated with agile. What are the first associations you still have with this agile methodology? So Marcus, if we can now do the first breakout rooms for 10 minutes so that people
prepared. It's 4 to 5 people per room, and that is treated those people who are like walking or driving. So you should in each room have at least 3 people who can actually focus, or who are sitting somewhere. Okay, so 10 minutes. What is agile? What are the principles? And ready to come back with 3 keywords.
Exactly. But your proposal is always practical and makes sense, so for sure. Okay, so people are back, I guess. Is everybody back? Not everybody, only some of you.
Let's see the breakout rooms.
No, it was, I
no, in 20 seconds.
accept.
Because I see Monica. Hi.
Yeah, yeah, but it was my mistake because we got the 1 minute reminder and I wanted to click on okay, and I click on the other one that was abandon the room immediately.
Well, in 3 seconds, you won't be alone. 2, 1, there we go.
But at least we could have private talk, Monica.
Really? You could have?
Yeah, we're now 10 seconds or something. Okay, so now everybody is back, right, Marcus?
Yes.
Perfect. So let's see if this task helped you to have a better day already, or if it only will come. So it's now up to you. Just I will not appoint anybody. Just as you feel it, as you want, you can start sharing what you remember about Agile, about the methodology you practiced with Petra. What would be the 3 keywords that you would associate still after some time passing by with the Agile methodology? So who would like to share? Ruchi, you want to share?
Caroline will share from our group. She has the best voice.
Caroline?
Yeah.
You have the best voice. Please share.
So I don't even remember what we talked about. So I know we had word design.
Design, okay.
Flexibility.
Yes. Oh.
And one more. Sprint, like in running.
Yeah, okay.
Yes.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah. Thank you, Caroline. Thank you for having the best voice and sharing. So who has the best voice from the other groups? Who would like to share?
Georgia.
Georgia, you have the best voice. Ruchi, what is this? Beverly vibes. Now I can see it.
Okay, the Greeks you will see after. Okay, so about this. So our keywords in our team were collaboration, continuous improvement,
yes,
and adaptability.
Okay, so it's another 3 words. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, thank you, Georgia.
And another beautiful voice.
Another beautiful voice indeed, of course. I wouldn't expect anything else, Vasily. So, who else has the most beautiful voice? You set this criteria for yourself. Who was Adam?
Well, Adam.
Okay,
Super.
say it.
We were in the same group, so
okay.
Good. Adam.
Okay, so just the 3 words?
Yeah.
Okay, so we had flexibility, we had transparency, and then we had tango. Okay. Which is a very good metaphor, which basically is supposed to mean that everything is kind of integrated into each other and works seamlessly.
If you know how to dance it, then yes. Yes.
Exactly.
You can already change the background, but it's okay. You can still.
Yes, I forgot.
It's for emergencies.
Now they will see really my real background in my home. Not this.
You don't want to show your fancy bathroom? Okay.
It was just a surprise for Ruchi, you know. How you showed it to all. Okay, so who else has the most beautiful voice to share? From another group. Anitko.
I was with Ruchi and Caroline. So.
Okay. And you obviously don't have the most beautiful voice from the group.
Yes.
Okay, so who else? One last guess. I guess, Marcus, how many groups?
We had 3 groups, so I think it was already.
So we already have it all.
Yeah.
Okay, that's perfect. Let me then share it again. Can you see it?
You're still sharing. You share it all the time.
I did?
Yes.
Okay. You see, I was not aware of it.
You're oversharing.
Yeah. I don't know how to stop share and how to share it. I'm also a boomer in a way, I guess.
Now you're sharing and now you stopped.
Yes, but I know that I share it, but I can't see it, you know. Now I can see it. Good. So, thank you very much for being patient enough and also open to recall what you have in the memory about the agile principles, because really agile methodology, it's such a umbrella for Scrum, because Scrum is a way how you can apply the principles step by step into the practice. So we remember that it's a process or methodology that somehow tracks the progress, is rooted in collaboration, is rooted in adaptability. And the Scrum framework is simply a tool how you can apply all these things in your concrete action. And what we are going to deal with, it's the roles in the whole system, in the whole methodology, what artifacts you have, what phases you have, and what ceremonies or what ways you have how to proceed with your clients. So what is Scrum exactly? We will now start with some short input from my side, and then we will have again some chance to practice it, to discuss it, to reflect it. So it's a structured way of working in short cycles that are called sprints. This is also a word that you recalled from the agile methodology that help us to deliver results step by step. And it is based on three key principles. It's iterative progress, which means that the work, the whole topic or the goal of the client is simply broke down into very, very small steps instead of dealing with it all at once. It is done in cooperation and collaboration. So the people who are involved in the Scrum project or Scrum methodology cooperate on a very close basis and support each other. And again, it's the word that you already mentioned, adaptability, which means that you can very, very easily and fast change the plan if you see from the feedback, which is very often, that the process is not working the way you want it to. And this is what makes it a little bit more different from the traditional coaching setting when you meet the person maybe on some regular basis, but still in between, you have quite a lot of time and the people commit themselves to some goals, but then in between your meetings, they might see that not everything is working, they don't have enough motivation, or maybe there were some obstacles that they didn't know about in advance. And simply they stop working. They stop going after the goal because the things are not going according to what they planned. However, this Scrum methodology helps you in the role of the coaches and your clients to much faster realize that the way they decided to go is not working for their purpose and for their goal. And it helped them and you in the process adapt much faster to what you would like to do or what the client would like to do. So after explaining this, just very basic concepts already, I have already 2 questions here just for you to reflect. If you can imagine how these principles can align with your coaching approach, or if you can imagine how does this process can help your clients. You don't have to answer now, it's just 2 guiding questions I would like you to have on your mind while going through the whole webinar, because what I would really like you to take out of it is a practical hand-on experience, how you can use this, especially in collaboration with certain kind of your client. So when I am talking, when you're practicing, when we are sharing, please be guided by these 2 questions. If you can imagine how these principles or tools can be aligned with your coaching approach, and also if you see any benefits for your clients from this structured way of doing it. There are 4 steps or 4 levels of the Scrum framework basics. and we will go step by step, and you will practice each step, because sometimes you can use only one of the phases for your coaching process. You don't have to necessarily go through all the 4 phases. You can just choose some of the tools that can help you to work with your client in certain, as I say, phases of the process. So the first is the sprint planning. Again, it's something you already mentioned, that you associate the agile methodology still with the word sprint, like in running, that you run very fast, but for quite a short distance. So this sprint planning is that you decide what to focus on for a very, very short cycle. So you simply imagine a very short period of time, usually 1 to 3, maximum 4 weeks, but 4 weeks is already quite a long time. It really depends on the case, what you on the project task or whatever, but usually it's much shorter time, because then it gives you a potential to have a much faster feedback if you're really doing what you're supposed to do, and if it's bringing you the results that you want to have. The second phase, or the second level, is the daily stand-up, which means that you should have a very, very short daily meeting to check the progress or solve issues. And you don't have to do these daily stand-ups when it comes to the coaching, like every day with the client, but the client can have some very small tasks or rituals to reflect on everyday basis, or you can also check on the client. You can have very short agreements, like 1 minute WhatsApp message or something, just to receive the feedback if you are doing what you were supposed to, and if it's bringing you the results that you were expecting. Then you always need to collect the evidence. You work with data. This is from IT, so you need to have the evidence. You have to have the data. So it's not about, I felt like I did this. No, it's about, prove me that you did it, or what's the result? What is difference? What is the concrete evidence of this specific step you made? This is a very important part of the process, because this is how you teach people to take responsibility for their decisions and actions. This is what is often missing in coaching process, not only, but generally speaking, in coaching process. Like, if you want the evidence, if you want to see the indicators, the data, you make the people take the responsibility for their own path. And this is the basic of the coaching, just to learn young people to feel responsible and to take the responsibility for their own journey they decided for. And then the last stage or last phase, sprint review and retrospection. Then you together reflect on what worked, what didn't work, and then you can make some steps to improve for the next sprint. So basically, how you do it in practice is that when the client comes with some big issue, big goal, and sometimes it's bigger than the person can imagine, and sometimes it's very complex, and sometimes the client is being like in a spiral, like having so many things to discuss, and there are so many things connected to the issue they want to solve. So you really break it in a very, very, very concrete, very, very small steps. You plan them for 1 week period. Usually you set some checkups, like some rituals or ways how you will measure if it brings the results that you're supposed to. If it doesn't, then you adapt to it. And if it does, then you use this experience for the next phase of the sprint. So this is basically the framework of the Scrum methodology. And I understand, or I can imagine, that it can seem like really too autistic in a way, but when it comes to human motivation and how to efficiently support young people on their way, this is really something that they can help them to see the results faster, which brings the bigger chance that they will keep on the track. You will have a chance to try it yourself, so let's see. So how to implement the Scrum in coaching? Because Scrum methodology is, as we said, rooted in the Agile. It is usually used for the teamwork. You can also use it in your organizations. We have people here who are leaders of organizations. It's also a methodology that you can apply to the teamwork. But you can also apply the principles in non-formal education in general and in coaching specifically too. So what you do, what you can do, you simply took the complex goal, complex case of the client, you break it in a very, very concrete small steps that you call sprints. The next step, which I really like because it really brings me clearer results, and I often do this with my clients, not only young people, but in general. It's called backlog management, but what it means is you simply put down all the needs of the client that are somehow involved, and then you need to prioritize them, and I will show you how we can do it. There is a structure to do it. Then you have these quick progress check-ins. So you have a small short rituals to check if I did what I wanted to do and if it brought me the results I wanted. And there is this element of evaluation and reflection of what works or of what doesn't work, because this allows me to adapt to the track if I need to make some changes to reach what I wanted to do. Okay, let's now explain a little bit more every of these phases. So what is a sprint? Sprint is a focused period, usually to maximum 4 weeks, to work on a very, very specific and concrete goal. The goal has to be very clear and has to be measurable. So it's nothing like I want to enhance my self-confidence, for example. It has to be something like very concrete, like prepare a great presentation or prepare a great curriculum vitae or prepare a great profile on LinkedIn. And to have a very good criteria how I will evaluate that the LinkedIn profile is good. I don't know why I chose this example, maybe because it's my task to do last half of year, but it can be a good example of like what you can choose to work on. You can think of this sprint, of this limited period of time, as a chapter in the coaching journey. So it slowly but very clearly leads you to the goal, and it's phase by phase. So it's a chapter. So if I want to, I don't know, have a good profile on LinkedIn, there are probably some steps because I need to evaluate my current situation, and there are some steps that I need to take how to do it. So I break these steps. 1 week I do something, next week I do something, but it has to be something very measurable, and each step is just a chapter in this coaching journey. And as the result, I will have professional, good looking or crazy looking, well, it depends on your needs, LinkedIn profile. So there is an example how you can structure a sprint. Example is 1 or 2 sprint example. So on Monday, you send a very short goal, a very sprint goal just for this week. On Wednesday, you have a very short midweek check-in, like very short, like how is it going? Or it can be different ways. It can be scaling. It can be whatever tool you know from coaching. On Friday, you do the quick progress review. So how you manage to where you are now. And then at the end of the second week, it's the final review. So at the end of the second week, you already have the result. And in between, you have several ways how you can, or moments, how you can check if everything is going according to the plan. The next phase, backlog management, organizing priorities. As I said, I really like this one because it helps me, even if I don't use Scrum methodology itself. I often work with this because sometimes people are really overwhelmed by their situation. They feel like it's too much to handle, it's too much to share, it's too much to deal with. And putting the things down, putting the thoughts down with the perspective of a need. So what do you need? Help the people to prioritize the process. I actually did it. I can use it as my own example. I think it was 3 weeks ago at my own coaching session when I am the client, because I'm attending this MBA studying program, Excellent Leadership and Management, and we are all assigned our own coach, and they are very strict, I can tell you. And we had a coaching session when I was not in a very good condition because there were many things going on, like in the life of most of you now. And what we simply did is that he asked me how you felt, what are your current biggest emotions, and what are the needs behind these emotions, and write it down. So he made me write it down, all the feelings, all the needs, and then to write down all the thoughts I'm having around this. And we created a mind map. This is your favorite tool, also, I guess. And once when you saw it on the paper, and once you start putting the things, the thoughts, the needs, the emotions down, you organize it, and suddenly they stop overwhelming you. You can simply start having control over these issues. It's not that they are controlling you, it's the fact that you control them, and you can decide that you will postpone some of the things, or you will cancel some of the things, you will delegate some of the things, or you have to process some of the things, but you have it down and you can start prioritizing. What is important in this phase is that you don't simply use any filter now. It's simply a brainstorming. So you don't filter it, you don't judge it, you don't say it's too big, it's too much, it's not realistic, it's not feasible, and blah, blah. You just make the person put everything down, and only then you prioritize it with this tool, which is called Moscow method. It's an acronym. It's not related to any political issues. So then you look at the list of what you have with the perspective of 4 criteria. The first one is must have. So this is essential. And without this, you can't manage to succeed in the sprint. Then it should have, which means it's important. And then it's nice to have. And then it's you won't have or not now. And once you prioritize it, again, you simply know better what to focus on, because you, of course, will delete won't have or not now. You will also put these could have or nice to have in the brackets. And then what you simply have, it's must have or should have. But the list of the needs, thoughts, and everything is reduced now and is somehow organized according to the criteria of the urgentness. So either it's essential or important in relation to the topic that I would like to deal with. Then the daily stand-ups, they can be very easy things. It's nothing like to make it a bigger burden for you or the client. It's simply in the morning or in the evening, you do this check-in, like what is my focus today? What might block me in my sprint? Who can help me? Like very, very short, simple questions. The client can do it himself, herself, or they can just text it to you in WhatsApp. So you only know that it's happening. When you make the person to write this down to you, it is already certain kind of commitment. And again, it helps some people to stay on the motivation track. Or you can do it in the evening, like what did I accomplish today? What challenged me? What is my plan for tomorrow? It depends. Like you can have both, but for some people it can be already too overwhelming. So you can just choose one, and you just choose the way how you inform each other about what's going on. So it's a very practical way, only focus on what I can do, what's my priority, how it's related to my sprint, how it's related to the priorities I chose, and what can be my obstacle. And this is very important because people often get scared or stopped or overwhelmed by obstacles, even if they knew that they would come, or even if they didn't or couldn't know. Obstacles will block us, will stop us, and can simply stop the progress. So if you are more aware of it and you reflect it as a part of the journey, then there is a bigger chance that you will simply overcome it. I do this morning check-in and evening review every day. For me, it's a ritual part of every day because it really helps me to be focused on the things that I want to do. Because what I learned in my life and what I also try to teach people or even guide the clients is that what counts is what you do. It's not what you want. It's not what you think. It's not what you wish. It's not what you would like to do. It's what you do. Every step you do leads you to the path or to the goal, or it simply doesn't. It's very easy to not to live it, but to see it. So if you know what you want, and if there is something you work on, then to have this everyday review in the morning and in the evening can really help you to keep on the track. Because we can get distracted during the day so many times by other things that seem urgent. But if you once committed to do something or to change something, then it's necessary to stay committed to the journey. Otherwise, the distraction can take you away, and all the energy and investment you did is or has been a waste of time. So I highly recommend this, not only to include this with your clients, but also in your own professional growth or whatever issue you might be dealing with. Simply being aware that you're making steps that are still aligned to who you want to become. And I think this can be really a good and practical tool.
Adam raised his hand. Did you have a question?
Adam, yes.
Yes, I wanted to ask if we can use these check-ins morning or evening with clients if it doesn't go over some kind of client coach like barrier or hranica.
Yes, boundaries, you mean?
Boundaries, yes.
Yeah. I mean, this really depends on how you organize it, how you explain it, how you use this with the client. What is your usual way of doing it? The client doesn't have to necessarily send this to you. It's in some cases, it's not, you don't even to react to it. It's about the client send it to you and you know that it's happening. It's not about being in touch with the client some extra time or crossing some kind of boundaries. It's simply that you know and they committed. For example, like in my coaching process in the leadership program, I also have to do it. I have to write these check-ins to my coach. There are, I don't know, like 2 or 3 small things, but I have to reflect it. I have to write it down and I have to send it. For me, it's the way how I ensure myself that I really do it, because you don't want to look not responsible, or if you are a certain kind of a person, so you simply do it. Or and it also helps me to sometimes clarify the thoughts that can be really overwhelming, like especially in analytical minds, we can have like so many layers of information and everything is connected to everything, and you don't know how to start, because if you start here, it will influence or it will impact the system on the other corner. So you see it, you see the complexity, and it can be scary. This helps you to really to make the small steps and to commit. So Adam, did I help you?
That I don't have to actually respond, that we can then like talk about it maybe in the session later, that, oh, I saw that you didn't send me this.
Exactly.
Yeah, that sounds much more reasonable.
Yeah. You didn't have to.
But something I would very much like to do with them, because they feel more motivated than if they have
feel
these
much
check-ins.
more motivated, and it really gives them this feeling of, okay, so I moved forward, you know, I really moved forward. I did something, I did a small step. Okay, so I at least opened the account at the LinkedIn and I changed the photo, or at least I realized how LinkedIn is working. So it can be a very small step, and the person has this feeling, okay, so I moved forward. And it's very important. I mean, of course, we all know it's a question of dopamine and other hormones, but it's another topic of another webinar for sure. But it works. It works. And it works because of many reasons. First is that you commit to somebody else, which always fosters the motivation. It helps you clarify the thoughts, and it helps you to clarify the small successes you're doing. And if you are meeting an obstacle or you're struggling with motivation, it's also a thing to send and to reflect, because then you can adapt, you know, so you can adapt. You can say, okay, so I thought it might be working for me, but it's not going to work for me, okay? Like, in my case, it's a little bit funny story for me, but I have good friends in Czech Army, and they asked me to become a member of their campaign, which is called Heart February or something like that. I'm not even a target group of this thing, but I promised my friends to do it. So I promised that I committed myself somehow that I will every day post something on social media that I am exercising or doing something. But I realized that I am simply not narcissistic enough to do it. I did it several times. It worked in a way the army wanted, but for me, it was really crazy to be part of this. So I simply have to adapt my presence in this campaign, because it simply doesn't work for me. And for me, it's good to do this regular check-in, like if I can do this campaign, if I'm authentic in this campaign, what it brings to me, what it brings to other people. So yeah, this is really how it can serve you. And I also committed myself, but I already broke the commitment. But by doing these check-ins, like how I feel, what it brings to me, what are the obstacles, if I want to deal with this or not. if this is the way I want to be understood by people. So it can serve as this decision-making basis. And the last thing, simple sprint review, which already should be somehow involved in your coaching session because you should be meeting at the end of the sprint period. So it's achievement check, like what goals did you reach, what is still in progress, what didn't work, what you can do about it, what can you show for your work. This is what I already mentioned. It's this evidence collection, like you have to collect the data. You have to ask the people, like, what is exactly the proof that you did it? How did it help you? What can you, how can you prove it? And again, people are usually not used to think of this. Like we do the steps, but not always we are able to defend our steps, or we are not always able to explain the change or the result. What feedback did you receive? It's very important thing too, like dealing with the feedback. I mean, there are some rules how to deal with feedback, but in general, it's good if the client is aware of what impacts he or she has on himself or other processes, other people, environment, and what metrics improved. So what are really the data that you can show the improvement? I mean, you don't have to take this and apply it to every single situation and to create some artificial evidence or metrics. It's about where it makes sense. So if we apply it, I don't know, to this campaign on social media, it can be the number of the people who are following you or who are following some of the campaign, who are reacting. So where it makes sense, then you can provide the coach with the data. And again, it helps the person to take responsibility for their own life. Like, this is it, this is what I wanted, this is the change I wanted to create, and now this is the result. And let me check if the result, what I'm having now, is leading to the change that I am having. And it requires a lot of discipline for a person, and we can hardly do this alone. It's always good if we are in some helping relation, which can be the coach and the client. And especially when we talk about young people, to work with their motivation, it's specific, it's different than to work with the motivation of mature adults or adults in general. So now it was too much talking from my side, I think. You will have a chance to practice it, and you will be now put in the pairs, in couples. Marcus will prepare it, or I guess he already has prepared it. You will have 30 minutes, and immediately after this, we will already have a break. So please be aware of the time that at 5:45, you will finish with the coaching session, and then you will have a break till 6, and then we will meet again to reflect it and proceed. But what you will do in the coaching session now, you will work in pairs. One person as a coach, one as a coachee or client, and then you will switch the roles. So it will be basically 15 minutes for each of you. And the task is use Scrum framework to help your partner create a structured plan for their professional development goal. And on the next slide, it's written here more in detail. So maybe you can make a picture of it or something so that you have it as a structure, or I can share the presentation in the chat as you will like it. So the coach, when you are in the role of the coach, you will help your client to define one very clear, measurable professional development goal. So very, very concrete, specific skill that you want to develop. You will create a simple backlog of activities. So it means that you will put down the needs and you will prioritize it. And then you will plan a sprint. So you will decide on what you have to do during next 2 weeks, for example, small steps, what you will need to do. And you will also maybe decide on some way how to update yourself about if you're doing it in a good way or not. So these check-ins, okay? So as I said, maybe take the picture. It's the faster thing now. Try it, 15 minutes each, switch the roles, choose one very, very clear professional development goal. plan it in a sprint, so break it in a very, very small steps what you need to do, and put down all the needs, thoughts, whatever you have around it, and prioritize it. Let's see how this works. Do you have any questions before Marcus puts you in the coaching couples? No, it seems like it's clear. Oh, let's see. So Marcus, you can maybe...
Yes, then just Dita, just to be sure, because it's a bit different from the flow. You want to do the coaching now, right?
Yeah.
Okay, good. Then my question to the group is just, are there people who would prefer to be observers because they're driving a car or walking in the street? Can you put shortly in the chat if you prefer to be observer? Because with these people, I would make them trios.
I'm not driving anymore. I'm on the couch, so yeah, just to know.
Okay, coach on a couch, good. So it means everybody can be coach or coachee, yeah? Who's now online? Okay, Yekaterina, good. Anyone else who who prefers to observe? If not, then I'll try out how this works. Let's see. I need to make more rooms. Like this, recreate. So, Veronica. Okay, just checking. Yes. Good. And Tita, just to be sure, they have half an hour and then immediately it's 20 minutes break.
Yeah, 15 minutes.
15 minutes break. Okay. 2 times 15 minutes in the coaching couples or trios and then 15 minutes break. Okay, cool. Good. Then let's see, should all work out.
Yes.
Okay, time to come back after this extremely long break in this very short webinar. If you're with us, give us a sign, like in a spiritual session, turn on the camera. Yes, Ruchi is alive. Great. And Tita's already sharing this slide.
You with us. Give us the sign. So I can start, Marcus?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed the break. And I also dare to hope that you at least kind of enjoyed the coaching sessions, or at least trying it for the first time to understand how it can be helpful or how it can work. So I have now very basic questions, 2 of them, and I will be very happy if you can share your first impressions and insights. What was challenging about applying Scrum, if there was something? If there was not anything that you would consider challenging, it's also okay. And the second question, how did this structure help the coaching process? If you saw any of the benefits that could improve, could help to structure the coaching process. So I will be very glad if you can share. If you saw some challenges, what you found challenging about it, because it's also important part of the process. Or if you saw some benefits, if the Scrum methodology helped you to somehow structure the process, if you saw some benefit of the structure. So it's now up to you. If you want to share, I will appreciate, and I think everybody will appreciate, because you might now have different questions, different experiences, I guess different level of insights you might have from different couples. So let's start sharing. Just imagine that we are still sitting somewhere together in a room, that you can't escape the answer anyway. So we can share it. So who would like to start? Vasilis, you're always my saver. And Ruchi also. So Vasilis, you want to start, right?
Yes, I think so.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. For me, it was really challenging this tool because it's very simple, but at the same time, you have to use it correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, I say so because I was with Adam, and when it was my turn, I was confused a little bit. But yeah, I realized how simple is this tool and how effective can be in clients setting goals.
Mhm.
And for the moment, this is what I would like to share.
Thank you. And Georgia, she likes it. She likes your answer. And that's amazing. Support in the Greek team. I always admire. Thank you, Vasilis. Thank you for
Thank you, thank
starting. Thank you for being so brave to start. I appreciate it. So, Ruchi, you wanted to share also, or it was just non-verbal?
No, I want to share. Well, you are correct. Like experience with different couples are very different. That's true.
Yeah.
Well, I really like it. The structure, something I usually do, so I really enjoy it. But it's very short time with to talk about like a big goal to break it into 15 minutes, which we didn't have 15 minutes because we started talking with Georgia. It such happens. So we had like 10 minutes, but I found it very powerful way to understand, clear a goal, and to break it into pieces. So it gives the client more time to think on each detail and to clear the mind. And so the effect is very powerful. So that's what I felt.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ruchi. Yeah, you were with Adam. Okay.
Me? No.
No, Vasilis was with Adam. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, I was with Georgia.
You were with Georgia. Okay, Georgia, would you like to comment it also?
It was. It wasn't easy.
It wasn't easy. Yeah. What made it difficult? I'm so sorry for this question at 7 p.m. After a horrible day. I know. I am aware of all my sins.
In Greece.
So sorry.
Eat in Greece.
Yeah,
in Greece. Okay. What was difficult?
The question was, what made it difficult? Because we
Yeah.
felt it was not easy.
Yes. Many things. My lack of 100% focus.
Okay.
Yes. And as Vasily said, it seems a simple tool in my eyes. No, it's not at all. Because I'm not used to this tool. I have tried general, so no. And today it's even more harder for me to stay focused there and do it. And what made it difficult as well? It was that, yes, I know I had this short time, but this is not an obstacle. It's not, it's not a problem, but I couldn't be very efficient on such time, and also being a pair with Ruchi. And while I using this, our conversation lead to more and more talk, and I couldn't do this.
Yeah. I hope I get what you want to say, and exactly, I think Vasily said it. Like it seems very simple because the structure is very clear and the steps are very clearly I don't know, like define, but to give the clear answers, it is difficult. I mean, to ask the question like what you want and how will you break it into small steps and how will you check it, it's very easy. But once you are in the role of saying it, defining it, thinking of it, it can be demanding because it requires a certain level of concentration and also very, very clear imagination of what you want to achieve. And even in that case, it's quite difficult. It takes time. So I am aware of the time that it was not enough, that it was not meant to be a coaching session. It was just to first touch it with somebody else, and you will have more time to practice like for the longer time. But thank you, Georgia, for sharing. Who else would like to share how it went in your couples? Like if you saw some benefits or otherwise, if you understood it as too complicated, too demanding, too challenging, too whatever.
Sorry, can I add something? Because I didn't listen this. As a coachee, as a client, I received very clear steps. I mean, what we say with my coach, it was like, okay, you see, here is the solution. So now you can start and work on this. It was like, you can start and work on this. It came like to my, you see, to my forehead, like, Georgia, you have to do this. It's in front of your eyes. Go.
So now you know what to do with your life, basically, and it's amazing.
Not with my life, with this goal. Okay, I don't want to exaggerate.
Which is connected, I hope. Yeah. Thank you, Georgia. But this was an important contribution. Like, yeah, sometimes it's just one thing that is so obvious we are supposed to do, but we are still skipping the phase or not paying enough attention. And sometimes it's the small thing that makes the big difference. Indeed. Thank you. Who else would like to share the experience you had? Yeah.
I would probably, I forgot my English. Recharging. I would agree with the last thing that Georgia said, because today it was the worst day at work. And all of those questions were like God gifted to me, because I'm like, this is what I will do. And if I will not get improved, it's a problem. But at least I can do something, so I can like have a focus and like. Sorry, my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, but also because I was with Monica and we were like more chill, but we have coached each other before. I'm gonna be honest, but it was really interesting. I mean, she helped me, and I think like all the questions, because also I had some screenshots from, and Monica had her own notes from the presentation that you did before, so it was really helpful to see them and just to have like a construction. So this was also very helpful during being the coachee and the coach at the same time. So that's my contribution.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dita.
Yeah, you're very
Really
welcome.
nice tool.
Yeah. Did I get it right, Anastasia? Did you said that you received this from God today?
No, I mean God gifted or something like this.
Yeah, but it's true.
Yes.
Yeah, because I asked God today to make me a good channel of this difficult tool to deliver it to you. So now,
yeah, because to be honest, especially at the working environment, I have lost hope. So only God can help at this point. So
you can come to our home. We are getting bigger and bigger family.
No, the second
every day.
idea is to just go and work at the Adam supermarket.
Okay.
That's my plan B to life. I'm kidding. I don't want to destroy your supermarket.
Thank you, Anastasia. Thank you. And you were in couple. Pray for Anastasia. Yeah, we definitely will. And you were with Monica. Monica, what is your reflection of your work in the couple? Of your chill?
Yes, I will tell you. I think it's a bit difficult, at least to me, to find something that you achieve in just one day. Because I was thinking if I achieved something today, and my answer was like, I did the things that I had to do for the day. Like, it doesn't feel like a big achievement. Yeah. So I think it's easier for me to see it in a longer period. But if I have to say something about just one day, it doesn't really feel like I achieve anything because it feels like a normal day.
Yeah.
Like
It's perfect.
surviving.
Yeah. I really like the way how you started sharing. Like it's really difficult for me, and you're lying in the bed, you know.
Yes.
It's a perfect picture. We couldn't have better.
It's 3 hours. You need to be comfortable.
I understand. I would also like to be in your position for sure. Yes, Monica. Maybe people are exchanging messages in the chat that are so much related to Scrum. I'm so happy. Yes, Monica, I get what you want to say, but maybe I didn't stress enough one thing, that even if you are breaking certain things to smaller steps, you still want to achieve some bigger goal. So it is something from the bigger perspective, but you break it in a very, very short steps. And by making first step, second step, third step, and more steps, you are getting closer to the goal. And you are being aware of very small achievements that somehow lead you to the goal. Because for some people, the big goal at the end can be so complex, so overwhelming that for them it's difficult to measure the progress.
No, that is true also because when you accomplish something that is very big, people are not aware of all the work that there is behind. So this part I understand. So yeah, it makes sense.
Some of the boomers in our group don't know that they can use their private chats to discuss their own business about different colors or whatever.
Lame.
We want to make everyone aware of our jokes.
Yeah.
We have nothing
Tita,
to hide,
can I say
Rita.
something? I would like also to agree with you and disagree with Georgia, because for me it was Monikita asked me, "What's your goal for work?" And I'm like, "Oh, girl," So I have so many goals, so it was better to divide all of them rather than say I want to reach this point, because this point looks like Everest, or maybe like the mountains which are high into the ocean, So yeah.
Actually, Anastasia, thank you for saying this again, because there was one thing I wanted to mention after you spoke, but then I forgot. But you now reminded me again. The thing that the effect that you are now describing in practice can mean that by breaking the big thing in smaller steps, you are having a more control over it. So sometimes it seems like more feasible to achieve it because it's a smaller thing, and by being sure that you can do it, you are slowly getting back the control, of course, is illusion in general, but we can now use it as a shortcut to explain the thing. But you can at least control something. There is a small thing you can do, and this can be so empowering for people who can be lost. Like if they feel lost or overwhelmed, if there is one small step that they can do out of the dark. Now I can use your conversation in the chat. It can be so empowering for a person to make the first step and understand that there is actually a way leading out of it. It can be game changer sometimes. Yeah, thank you. Is there anybody else who would like to share how it went in your couples? I think it's enriching for everybody to hear how
Adam, would you like to share something?
I very much like the structure. I just needed more time.
Yeah. Thank you.
That's all.
Yeah, that's all. Okay, yes, did you want to say anything?
Yeah, I mean, the same to me. I was with Veronica, and she's very good at it. So from the, let's say, the side of the client, I really managed to see how the structure could really help. And even if it was too short, I mean, it was very effective. And then from the other side, I don't know, because I was more acting, I don't know how it was, but somehow I think that what you said is true, that once you break the whole thing in small pieces, it's you see it like more easy to achieve, to get to that point. And somehow I guess we managed in both sides with Veronica to see the aim, like, you know, little steps, and this is really, as you said, I mean, makes things more easy to be understood and to go through. And once you start to do it, I mean, then it's what makes sense. So it was very good exercise. Maybe yes, more time, but as you said, this was just a taste of it. I mean, and I liked it. Yeah.
Yeah, Veronica is not with us, I guess. I think she wrote in
Yes,
the
I am.
Ah, okay, cool. But can you also comment it, please?
Yeah. And Jose, you were also really good. Like, I think that one good question can change the course of the whole session. And this one for me was that if someone can help me with my goal, and yes, I immediately started to think who, and probably she has all the answers I need for this. So it was great.
Exactly. This is exactly it. Like, these tiny small details can be game changing, because exactly as you say, suddenly from the overwhelming topic, you have a resource that might be complete change of direction, because once you receive some kind of information, then you have more data to decide, maybe new direction to go. So I think that in general, the journey in life is just step by step, and then we are looking around again where I am now and what steps I need to take. And even if you know where you're heading in terms of who you want to become, because for me, it's the ultimate goal for everybody, like who I want to become. And then to make the steps, every single small step, every single small decision, and checking if this step is the right one, is in alignment with the path of who I am becoming. And this is a perfect example. Maybe sometimes it's the resource. And now you're leading me actually to another part of the webinar. So I will now finish the sharing part, but the next webinar, when we see next week, you will have more time to practice more things, and we will go deeper in the sharing part. But what I also wanted to share with you is another important topic or structure in the Scrum, and it's the topic of the roles. What roles you can find in the Scrum model. There are basically 3 roles, and then I will tell you why your contribution made the bridge to this topic, at least in my head. You have basically 3 key roles in the whole process of Scrum. The first one is the product owner. It's the one who defines goals and priorities. Then you have the Scrum Master, who is the facilitator of the process, who tries to remove obstacles and who guides the process. And then you have the development team, which can be the support network. So now, help me to identify what your guess is. Who is who in the coaching process? What do you think? Who is who? What do you imagine behind a product owner, Scrum Master, and development team? And I don't see you now while I'm sharing, so you can either start talking or you can give us the sign and Marcus will help me. Who do you think is who in the coaching process? Who is the product owner? Who is the Scrum Master? And who is the development team?
The Scrum Master is the coach.
And the product owner is the coachee.
Thank you, Ruchi. Thank you, Madam. Yes, the product owner is the client. And I really like the terminology because from the title of the product owner, it is quite obvious who owns the process, who has the responsibility, who is supposed to have the right motivation, who is supposed to define the goal, who is supposed to be aware and conscious about the journey that he or she is taking. So it is really the client who is the product owner. It's not the coach. The coach is really the Scrum Master. So he facilitates the process for the product owner. He removes the obstacles, he supports and he guides the process. He is there to see about the check-ins, but he's not the one who decides about the goals or priorities. And this is really what I like about it very much. And what about the development team? What can we imagine in the coaching process? And now, Veru, here is the bridge, you know. So what?
Yeah, I see the development team. It could be also for the product itself, but also for the coach as well. So it's the people around who can help with the topic and the process.
Exactly. This is, well, exactly. You can apply it to the both roles. Mostly this is applied to the role of the product owner, but also the Scrum Master needs a network of people we can have. You have the peer support in the process. We have the supervision groups. And you also have, I guess, other networks of different kind of support in your own different roles. In the Scrum model, the development team or the support network for the product owner, who is the client, it's simply the people around the person who can help the person with the guidance, with the direction. So it's an important part always. And I'm so happy, Veru, that you mentioned that Yosa asked you the question, who can help you with? Because this is exactly the point of it, like to define who is my support network in achieving what I wanted to achieve. So in the whole process, you are going to be the Scrum Masters, if you want to follow this terminology. And your clients, it's them who are the product owners. So it's them who are supposed to do the check-ins, and it's them who are supposed to adapt their goals or steps, or we can call it sprints, in terms to reach what they wanted to reach or to become who they wanted to become. Because sometimes the question of reaching the goal is to become a different person, because you need to have sometimes new competencies, or you have to adapt new approaches. And without become a different person, you can hardly achieve certain kind of goals. So for me, this is really connected. And when you, or I often use this perspective of who you need to become to reach this goal, always brings you to the debate of the competencies. So what skills you need to develop, what approaches you need to change to be able to reach what you would like to reach. Okay. And this brings us to the final of today's webinar. We still have some time, but I will introduce you the homework task, which you're supposed to do in between. You will have 1 week to do it. And we also prepared environment with Marcus for you to show you how you will approach it. So in between, we see each other. And I know that some of you announced that you can't participate, like Monica, I think, announced, but you still can do the homework because it can be a good inspiration for the others. So now it's up to you to identify one client case where you can try a mini sprint. If you don't have any coaching session planned for the next week, or if it's not feasible for you for different reasons, you can also apply it on you. You can also apply it as a self-coaching tool, self-coaching activity. What you can try to do, you can create a simple backlog for that client needs. So you will speak with the client and you will identify all the needs, all the thoughts and everything, and you will prioritize them. You will plan a daily reflection for yourself or your team, in this case for yourself or your client, with your client. So you will agree on some very easy way of these daily reflections, morning, evening, or I don't know, lunchtime reflection, very, very short check-ins, like how the person or you in the self-reflection process are doing. And we will be very happy if you can prepare a very brief report on this experience for the next session. So what was the goal? What was the mini sprint? How the backlog looked like, and how the way of the check-ins of the daily reflection processes look like. And for this, we created, I will now stop sharing because the task is also described somewhere else. Marcus, I think it's in chat, right?
Yes, I already pasted it in the chat. Yes.
Okay. So if you open the chat and if you skip some of the messages, somewhere among them, you can find, again, the link from Marcus, which is a link to Canva. Maybe, Marcus, maybe we can open it and share it. What do you think?
Okay. Let me see here. It should be shared already, Dita, no? On the
Yeah,
screen.
it is. It is, and I see Ruchi's name there. He's already doing the homework. It's amazing. So yes, please save this link. The homework is also written here, so you don't need this presentation. But anyway, I will upload today's presentation to our WhatsApp group so that you have it, so that you have the whole structure and everything. You will basically choose one of the green post-its. You will write your name, and then you will write down the report from this experience you might be having within the next week. So if you don't have anybody special to apply it on, you can always apply it on yourself and use it as a self-coaching tool. I mean, it can be a little bit more complicated to do the check-ins with yourself, but you are either a very much disciplined person to do it for yourself, or you can always ask your couples in the mutual support in the peer system that we have. Okay. Do you have any questions about the homework to do? This is blah, blah. Yes, you can play with blah, blah, blah. You can put it in different format. You can make different size of the letters. Everything is possible. You can choose different writings. You can be very creative in creating this. Yes. Any questions about the homework? Anything you would like to clarify? As I already said, you will receive the presentation today. I will upload it in the WhatsApp group, so you have the structure which might help you to structure the process either for your client or for you in the self-coaching context. Okay, so it seems that you don't have any questions about it. I don't know what it means, but I hope for the better, as always. So before we go home, or before we move to another room within our homes, depends on where you are, let's make a final round of short reflection. Like, what is your main takeaway from today? Like, what is one thing that you would choose now to share with others that you are somehow taking with you to reflect on, to discover more, or to say clear and strong no, whatever?
For me, it was kind of refreshing to have different structure of that is possible to meet client more often than I used to do it, like 1 in 2 weeks or 3 weeks. But this one is like new structure I never tried, so
Okay.
I'm really happy to try it.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for starting. What about the others? It's up to you, like the order of people talking. Ruchi.
Sorry, Vasily. Such happens. Well, I really enjoyed the session because this is much needed one for me right now, which I am doing, but not very constructive. So thank you very much, Dita, to read my mind and bring the what is most important in my life right now. And I will enjoy this homework more than anything, but I will do it for myself. Sorry.
It's perfect, Ruchi, and I'm very happy if you are serious, then I'm more than
I,
happy.
I I I am always serious. This is my face. I born like this. Can't help it.
I know. But actually what we are doing together is this principle, if you are aware of it. Like we have every Monday checkup, we go through what you were meant to be, when to do and everything. So, and we are planning the sprints, like what you should do from one week to another. So basically we are working under this structure.
Yeah, but I feel I'm not that structured well enough. But after today, I'll be more.
Perfect, thank you. It's amazing.
Thank you very much, Dita.
You're very welcome, Richard. Thank you. So who is out there? I will ask you one by one, otherwise we will never finish this.
I will pass the ball to my
Please.
friend Raccoon.
Very good idea. Caroline.
It's not a good idea at all, but thank you. I will take from this the tool itself, but also I need this help to actually like set up the plan for the next 2 weeks for the sprint, which was really helpful because it seemed really confusing at first, but when Anita started like going through the things, then it seemed like so clear, and it took a lot of the stress off of it, knowing like this little short period of time and having this clear kind of not too overwhelming steps for me. So I will take that off. Doing it myself was more confusing, but at least one way was perfect for me. Yeah.
Caroline, thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah. And I will ask someone else to share.
Please help me.
Yes. So I will ask Anastasia to share.
I knew. My lovely raccoon. Thank you. Okay. Yes. I really like the structure and the fact that I can control my client. Yes. I know it's terrible, but I can control them because those questions are kind of like, you can tell me, like, you cannot say like, this task went amazing. No, like, it's kind of like controlling the person, having like more control on him than usual. I don't know if that's really terrible, but it looked at me like that. It looked, you know. I don't know. Yeah.
Anastasia, you are inspiring me today a lot because maybe when you said this, I would put it maybe in a different way than I put it before, but maybe it's not necessarily that we can control things because most of them we can't, but
yes,
not the external things, but this can help us to identify what we can control. And this makes us empowered because from this we understand, okay, this is the thing that I can't influence or control, but the change of my approach, I can always control. I can always control how I will approach the situation. I can always control if I decide or how I decide to react.
Yes, you rephrase it a lot, but I totally agree.
Perfect, thank you.
Amazing. Yes. And now I will pass the ball to Georgia.
Okay, it's a national thing. We will solve it later.
Do you remember the question, Georgia?
I know. No, yes, yes, I remember. But I'm sorry for this, but I don't know exactly what I will keep. What do I mean? I receive a lot of information, but I need time to process. I mean, yes, I will keep some of these steps because they are already inside, because we practiced, but I cannot be more specific. For sure, I am happy that I finally have a more clear view on this tool that I've heard since a long time, but I don't have more clear things to say.
It's perfect this way.
And I pass the ball to Jose.
Somehow I felt it, you know. I knew it. Thank you, Georgia. Well, first, to me, the best thing was to see everybody again online. It was really the best thing. And what I take with me, I guess, yeah, I didn't know this this tool, and I guess it's very immediate. And somehow, even though, I mean, I do not feel that much. I'm not an expert in coaching, I know it, but somehow I feel that the tool is quite safe and easy to manage, and I mean, I believe that somehow it's also adaptable to different conditions. This means to coaching as well as like to teamwork or whatever. I mean, it's really that easy. You unpack the things and you see it like, and you start going. I mean, it's, I guess the tool itself is what I take with me.
Thank you.
Today.
Yeah, it's exactly as you say, like you can adapt it to different contexts, to different kind of processes, to different kind of environments. It's just a structure, and it makes the processes clearer, more understandable, and more feasible. Yeah. Thank you, Lisa. Who do you pass the word
to? Let's pass it to Adam.
I will now use the Moscow method in my coaching. I like it very much. That's it. Thank you.
Which one? The one I introduced, or Marcus?
Both. Wait, wasn't it Lorenzo who introduced? No, it was Marcus. I'm sorry.
Lorenzo is
Yeah,
not here.
Marcus. No, obviously Marcus. Well, actually, I would have said even Lorenzo would say something like that, but you know, both.
Okay. Who do you? Yeah, I also like this very much, because when you put down all the things and then you have to apply the filter of priorities, you immediately have to make the decisions, because you don't obviously have capacities for everything at once. You have to prioritize.
I've sometimes in my coaching, my clients, when they're supposed to make a decision and they are supposed to choose some criteria by which to actually choose the different steps that they're going to take, if they do want to take them or no, I asked them and they had no idea. So this is like a better solution for them, that it gives them the criteria of must have, should have, blah blah blah, and it's I can use it for any coaching basically. I like it a lot. Yeah.
Who do you pass the word to?
Lena, did Lena talk? I don't think she did.
Not in this round. Do we have you, Lena, with us?
Yeah, I was very happy to see you all. It is a very powerful tool, and I think that it would be very helpful to use. And I'm going to keep the question that Veronica did to me, if I can see some people that can help me. So this unlocked in my mind that I can accept that I need help.
Thank you, Lena. Yeah, thank you. I don't know what about the others, but I really have problems hearing you. the voice is very low, but what I wanted to say that this is a great example of the power of the silence, because really to make the people listen, sometimes it's enough to be just a little bit more silent. Thank you. Who do you pass the word to?
I will pass the ball to Vasilis.
To Vasilis, okay. National team, yeah.
Hello again.
Hi.
What I keep from this webinar is what once my math teacher said to me. He told me that, you know, Vasilis, why maths are difficult? Because are simple. And this is something I keep. And I also find the similarity with this webinar, that this method is very simple, but it's difficult because it's simple. And thank you, Dita, for make it as simple as you can. And Adam for understanding what's behind of my goals, because in these 15 minutes, I understand quite enough why my goals are difficult. I found the simple part of my goals.
It's great. It's great that you could achieve so much in this limited time, or in too much, I think, in terms of insights. It's amazing. Thank you for sharing this. And yes, I missed you in the case you didn't read it. Yes. Who do you pass the word to?
To Monica.
Okay, I will take part of what you said, because to me, I think it's difficult. For example, the daily, like to talk about the things daily with yourself, to me is very difficult because I don't have consistency. So it's something very easy, but I really find it difficult because you have to do it every single day. So it feels heavy. But I know it's a good thing. I just don't do it.
Yeah, such happens, as Richie would say. We know what's good for us and still we don't do it. But consistency is the key. Yeah, without it.
Exactly. That's where I am.
Yeah. Thank you, Monica. Thank you.
You're welcome. Next, I think Anita, maybe.
Anita, for sure, yes. Anita, are you here?
Can you hear us?
Adam, where is Anita?
I don't hear her, so probably not here.
Okay.
I don't
So
know.
Anita is not here. So we can pass the word to somebody else.
I yelled at her, nothing, so I don't know.
Who didn't speak? Vasilis, Anitka, Katja.
Exactly.
That's it. Yeah. Katja, do we have you? Not really, I guess. Yeah, I think that's it, Marcus.
And Veronica?
Veronica, she spoke already. Veronica Slavikova, she started. But we have another Vercha. And I don't think I didn't.
She left already.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so this was the Veronica that who was leading the conversation. Yeah, now I get it. Okay. So we are now at the end of today's part of the webinar. Thank you all so much for paying attention, because I understand that this topic is not the easiest one, or at least I see it that way, that it's not the easiest one. I really wanted to deliver it to you in a simple way so that you can understand it and start liking it, hopefully, or at least start understanding some of the benefits. And we will still continue with this effort in 1 week. When we will meet and we will continue, you will have more time to practice. And we will go even deeper into some of the competencies that you need to be able to apply the Scrum methodology, but it will give you more chances to practice it more, and we will have a proper reflection of specific coaching competencies related to the methodology. So it's all from me now, and I wish you all a nice evening.
Thank you,
And
Dita.